And greetings. Welcome once again to Maxims of Law, Part 20. We're going to get right down to it. If you've just arrived, we're just waiting for everyone to show up here at the live stream. Please hit the like and let everyone know we're here. Say hello in the chat if you did get the notification so that I know we're broadcasting out into YouTube. And we'll get started. Again, we're doing Maxims of Law, Part 20. We're going to be starting with words and meanings. See also construction and intent, which we have already gone over previously. A coupling of words together shows that they are to be understood in the same sense. It is the same thing to say nothing and not to say sufficiently. Where words are not conjoined, used disjunctively, it is enough if one or the other be complied with. It matters not what becomes of equivalent expressions. We're going to look this one up, and it has a footnote for number 3. Let's see what footnote number 3 is. Equivalent. Equal in force, weight, validity, etc. Equivalent in meaning or result. Equivalent. All right. So we're back here to words and meanings. And with that, we came across a new word, equivalent. It matters not what becomes of equivalent expressions. All right, so we don't argue equivalent expressions. Relative words refer to the nearest antecedent unless it be prevented by the context. All right, let's get this one again. Relative words refer to the nearest antecedent unless it be prevented by the context. So, again, the context dictates the relation between words. As far as, I guess you would say that their references of words would be dictated by the context to some extent. Words ought not to be accepted to import a false description, which may have effect by way of true limitation. And this comes into a lot of situations where you might find deprivation of rights and such. Again, this broadcast is meant to be strictly for educational entertainment purposes, not to be used for professional, legal, lawful advice, or in any way, shape, or form to be used for your professional life or in any of your affairs, other than for entertainment within the context of this broadcast. Don't do this at home. He who confines himself to the letter goes but halfway. Words are indicators of the mind or thought. What is never sufficiently said is never said too much. The spoken word flies. The written word, the written letter remains. Beautiful one here. The spoken word flies. The written letter remains. Words are to be understood with a reference to the subject matter, that it may be preserved rather than destroyed. Whenever the same words express two meanings, that is to be taken which is the better fitted for carrying out the proposed end. Words, let's see here. Words ought to have some operation. They ought to be interpreted in such a way as to have some operation. So if you're going to interpret words, they should be operative because words ought to have some operation. Again, word of the day, equivalent. I hope I'm saying this right. Equivalent. Well, equal in force, weight, validity, etc. Equivalent in meaning or result. Properties of words, proper meanings of words. The properties of words, which are the proper meanings of words, are to be preserved or adhered to. General words must be restricted to the nature of the subject matter or the aptitude of the person. General words must be restricted to the nature of the subject matter or the aptitude of the person. Interesting. Words should be understood effectively. Again, bringing effect. Operative. The meaning of a word may be ascertained by reference to the meaning of words associated with it. We may know something by its associations. The meaning of a word may be ascertained by reference to the meaning of words associated with it. Words should be taken most strongly against him who uses them. The meaning of the words is the spirit of the law. Another beautiful one. Equivocal words, and those in a doubtful sense, are to be taken in their best and most effective sense. Words are to be received with effect, so that they may produce some effect. From the words of the law, there must be no departure. From a few words or hints, the understanding conceives many things. Beautiful. The full meaning of a word should be ascertained at the outset, in order that the sense may not be lost by defect of expression, and that the law may be not without reason. There is no prolixity where there is nothing that can be omitted. All right, so prolixity. Anyone in the chat wants to stab at that word? Prolixity being prolix. Prolixity being wordy, using more words than necessary. Yes, prolix. I get it. Prolixity. I've never seen it used in that regard, but yes, prolix is wordiness. All right, excellent. So prolixity. There is no prolixity where there is nothing that can be omitted. So you cannot be too wordy if you're saying things that cannot be omitted. The sense of words is to be taken from the occasion of speaking them, and discourses are always to be interpreted according to the subject matter. The force of a word is to be first examined, lest by the fault of diction the sentence be destroyed, or the law be without arguments. Wow. The force of a word is to be first examined, lest by the fault of diction the sentence be destroyed, or the law be without arguments. Nice. So just the diction shouldn't destroy the force of the word. Terms of an art should be explained from the art. Yes, terms of art, for sure. In regarding words, it is not the words, but the thing and the meaning that is to be inquired after. Those words which are spoken to one end ought not to be perverted to another. Prolixity, being wordy, using more words than are necessary. And as we may remember from good old Strunk's Elements of Styles, let every word tell. Words ought to be made subservient to the intent, not the intent to the words. General words do not derogate from special. General words are to be understood generally, or in a general sense. If there is no inference which leads to a different result, words are to be understood according to their proper meaning, not in a grammatical, but in a popular and ordinary sense. This is an interesting one to contemplate. If there be no inference which leads to a different result, key, words are to be understood according to their proper meaning, not in a grammatical, but in a popular and ordinary sense. Not a grammatical, but in a proper or popular and ordinary sense. Proper meaning, not just grammatical. Interesting. So the words. We've gotten in depth with the words regarding maxims of law. And now we're on to wrong and wrongful act. See also malice, corrupt, and error, which we've gone over previously. So let's proceed. One wrong does not justify another. A wrong does not excuse a wrong. No one shall take advantage of his own wrong. A man will not be allowed to derive a benefit from his own wrongful act. He who does not repel a wrong when he can, occasions it. This was similar to a previous maxim we also went over, that he who has the ability to prevent causes and doesn't causes it. Law hates wrong. We saw this one too before, I believe. Law hates wrong. The rigor or height of law is the height of wrong. Wow. Wherever there is a wrong, their damage follows. Indeed. Wrong is wiped out by reconciliation. Whatever is against the rule of right is a wrong. A right does not or cannot rise out of a wrong. Wow. All things are presumed against a wrongdoer. The greatest enemies to peace are force and wrong. The idea of right naturally suggests the correlative one of wrongs. For every right is capable of being violated. Interesting concept here. Every right is capable of being violated. That's the idea of right, having a correlative wrong. It is better to recede than to proceed wrongly. And as we look at the construction of these words, as we just went over words to fully understand, to recede would be to backstep, to go back, and to proceed would be to go forward. So it's better to step back than to go forward wrongly. A wrong is not presumed. It is better to suffer every wrong or ill than to consent to it. Although a thing may not be bad or wrong in itself, yet, if it is of bad example, it is not to be done. The act of the law does no one wrong. And at that, my friends, we have completed the Maxims of Law in English, cover to cover. And we can see here some of the abbreviations and the references, the bibliography of this book here, where we saw Bacon at Sir Francis Bacon's aphorisms, if it's the APH, and Sir Francis Bacon's maxims, if it's MAX, best on evidence, best on presumptions, Bingham's English Common Pleas Reports, 1822 to 1834. Whenever it says blacks, it's referring to Black's Law Dictionary, 2nd edition, 1910. See William Blackstone's Commentaries on the Law, and Bouvier's Dictionary, Volume 2, Maxims, 1880 edition. We have lots of good stuff in here. These are all good, the Cushing's Massachusetts Report, Encyclopedic Law Dictionary, 1922, James C. Cahill. English Chancery Report. So we also have some, I see here in French, Branch, this is Branch's Principia Legis et Equita. Well, I'm not good at reading French, but this is Principles of what is this, Law and Equity. Broom's Legal Maxims. Yeah, some really good references here. Common Law Maxim, if it said CLM. So we can see what a great body of wisdom we tapped into to compile these great maxims of law and then have them translated, interpreted into English. Locke, this is John Locke, Two Treatises of Government by book, chapter, paragraph. Beautiful. Yeah, there's a lot from Locke in there, I noticed. All good stuff for further research and further reading. Latin, yes, we had some Latin maxims that were translated, Greek, French, Old English, some good stuff here. And I want to thank everybody here for coming along. I hope you took notes. And make sure that you hit that like so that others will find this great information and they'll be able to apply it too in the way we express the freedoms and rights we have and are aware anytime they are wrong so that we could take proper action, have these maxims really have the fruition of taking effect in our life and making the changes in the positive direction, so we're not constantly receding but able to proceed in a way of good faith and liberty and justice for all. Well, on that note, I'd like to say thank you all for coming on this great journey. And let's see here. Don't see too many other people in the chat, but at that, I guess it's hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't already, and make sure you're alerted for future streams. We've completed this book, Maxims of Law, English version, and it's a nice compilation. Let's get this back on the screen for everyone one more time. And let's see, so we can give proper due respect to the authors. There we go. Let me get this off the screen. Selection of Maxims, English, compiled by Charles A. Weisman. Over 1,600 maxims. We've gone over each and every one of them, listed under 105 different subject headings, being alphabetically arranged. And as we see here, maxims are the condensed good sense of nations. And lastly, law is a rule of right. And that's a maxim of law. And with that one, we can end this stream and we can end this series. And I want to thank you all once again for coming and spending the time on this journey of exploring the maxims of law. Peace out.